welcome back to yet another episode of the Miseducation of Music. You are here with J-Treb as always, but today I have a guest with me, and I'm excited for this episode because we're about to dive into some dope topics. I got Giovanni McEastland, Gio, in here, man, the rapper and the actor, man. Say what's up to the people.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
Man, so I'm super excited for this because when I was just looking at all the stuff you've done, man, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Your acting credits are dope. The rap is amazing as well, man. Like, I listened through the Godspeed project literally right before we started this, and I was like, man, this is like, I'm from Chicago. I could hear the little Chicago in there. The beat selection was great. So we're going to have to dive into that, man. But before that, could you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. So I'm born and raised south suburb of Chicago, Kankakee, Illinois.
Hey.
And I've been on the acting scene and entertainment as well as, hanging around the studio since a very early age. And yeah, man, just building since then.
That's what's up. What's some of the early stuff you did, man?
So some of the earlier acting gigs I did, nothing too large, but I was like a reoccurring background on all that.
Man, that's nostalgia right there.
So I actually did a competition called Funniest Kid in America for Nickelodeon.
Oh wow, man, I remember that back in the day.
Right, that was a fun time. So I obviously wasn't number one. I think Britney Spears' little sister got that, but it did open up some doors for a couple other opportunities and auditions.
Yeah, man, that's so dope. That's so awesome. Now, with the music, is that something you knew you were gonna do the whole time, or did that just come up, or was that in the back of your head during all of this? Because I mean, obviously the acting was there at a young age. So was the rapping alongside with it or anything like that?
Yeah, it's always something I've always had a love and a passion for, and I've always kind of done for fun. So I would say the first track that I created that was of quality. I was studying at the University of Southern California when I was 15 years old.
Wait,
they brought me out.
Wait, 15?
Yeah. When I was 15, I was invited to an accredited acting conservatory in a theater program out at USC. And I got like a dorm room and that type of stuff. And I studied with Anita DeShiel Sparks and Laura Zane, who are two top-notch professors out through the USC theater program. While I was there,
this was all at 15.
Yeah, 15.
Man, I was doing nothing at 15 in comparison.
No, man, it was a great experience. I got to travel. I got to see new things, and the weather was different from what I was used to in Illinois.
100% different. I am freezing.
It was a great time too. Just at SC, that was a great time to be around. I got to run into DeMar DeRozan and Lil Romeo on the yard. They were there as freshmen. That was the years that Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush were actually transcending out. So it was a great time for USC to be around.
That energy had to be awesome.
Gnarly, man, gnarly.
Now, so I mean, and this might be a slight tangent, but so you were 15 in these classes, seeing these people around you. Do you think that was affecting the music you were listening to? Like, what were you listening to at that time? Like, did you find yourself listening to the music that the people who you were around listened to, or was it still in a different range? I mean, like, what was in your headphones during that time period? 15 years old, going to USC.
Great question, man. Great question. So, it's quite funny that you asked that because this was my first exposure to music being released on one part of the coast and not really dropping yet on radio yet in other parts of the country.
the underground artists of a different area.
Right. So I remember when I went out there, I was still on like Lil Wayne No Ceilings mixtape.
Yes.
You feel me? It was like
oh man, I remember that one tough. That was a good time.
But when I dropped down on campus, it was like all about MIA Paper Planes.
Whoa, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
So I used to love tapping in with that West Coast music scene, and I remember that track too, bro.
It was a vibe, bro, and it took the coast over by storm. I was calling back home to my buddies, seeing if they were familiar with the song.
It's like, have you heard of this yet? And they don't even. It didn't even catch the wave yet.
What is that? But then by the time I got back, it was bumping on the radio station in Illinois. So I was like, oh, this is how. It taught me how trends work and how music travels. Art travels. It takes takes time from coast to coast.
That's so insane. So you went from bumping your Lil Waynes to the Paper Planes. Anything else in that playlist at that time?
Man, I really got exposed to, while I was there studying, is really when I think that my palette opened up. So that's when I started listening to Doors and John Mayer.
Oh man, Continuum is a classic till I die.
Paul McCartney actually performed on the grassy knoll that summer I was there.
Man, that's much different energy than the Midwest. That we do not have that popping up. That's so dope, man. Paul McCartney, that's just insane to see people like that has to influence your music in such a way. Like that has to influence what's in your headphones and then what you end up creating. How do you think those things kind of made you into the rapper that you became?
Well, I think that the emotions that they provoked from me, I really enjoyed. I was also listening to like Chris Brown at the time. Forever, ever,
oh man, that was the album right there. He had the Sprite commercial and everything. You know you made it when you got the double mint gum commercial and the Sprite, bro.
Killing it, my man. Nah, I'm saying though, it's pretty much like out there. It was warmer. There were palm trees. The people were beautiful. At the time, I really felt like there was a lot of opportunity for me. So the MIA's vibe for Paper Planes, or Chris Brown, really influenced me. Even getting into Wiz Khalifa,
oh man,
they really
that's a classic. That early Wiz, bro.
My guy.
Man, I got a question for you. So I've always thought this. So I think that Rolling Papers should have been the mixtape.
Rolling Papers did well.
It did well, but I don't know, man. I felt like it should have been a mixtape just because I didn't think that was the best way to show the people who didn't know the mixtape, who didn't know that early Wiz. Like that was a little bit of radio Wiz. It was all hot. I'm not gonna lie, No Sleep, I still bump that today.
Like I could have appreciated it as a mixtape, but I think maybe that he used the project as like a transitional piece on a major platform, because he was going from like
strategic in there,
mixtape Wiz, trap Wiz to like pop Wiz, so that was the introduction to pop Wiz, I believe. But those airy sounds, those good feelings.
Oh yeah, man, he floated over the top of the beat. That's how he was able to keep that tone. See, a lot of people don't realize that the cadence that you have in rap, you have to pick a beat that goes with the cadence. His cadence was it was a slight high pitch, but he didn't really go up or down. So he needed a beat that was going to do that for him. So he set in these beats that
both kind of ride the wave of the tempo of the beats.
Definitely. Him and Mac Miller had some tracks early, like Cruise Control, where those beats you feel like you're floating through the clouds when you listen.
Kool-Aid and Frozen Pieces, fire.
Man, this a work of art. You ain't talking Mona Lisa, bro. And then the whole kicking incredibly dope shit, bro. From Knock Knock all the way down, bro. He did the Fireflies remix back in the day. That one was cold too. Mac Miller was going crazy back in the day, man.
So I always wanted to create music kind of like that, man. That vibe that made you feel good. And I think that that's what the Sunshine did for me, and being out there listening to what those kids were listening to. It was all about the vibe. It wasn't always about
it wasn't about how hard it hit for every bar sometimes, you know what I mean? You had to create a whole environment through the track.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Man, that's crazy. Now,
and I think that you can definitely hear some of those. I think that as a listener, you'd be able to hear some of those similarities in my music, because I don't like to overfill the beat or overspeak. I think that my voice and the instrumentation are equally as important, and I want them to be partners and find a marriage that's like cohesive and enjoyable for the listener. And
it's got to have this balance so you can see every part of it, man. And I was about to say that kind of gets me into a couple questions I got about the EP, Godspeed. So you talking about the airy beats kind of like makes this album cover make sense. And I mean, for the YouTube video, I'll make sure it's on the screen here so everybody can see it, but it's got this paper plane flying through the air in the clouds. So, I mean, that kind of sets the tone already. Now, were these, like, when you put these tracks together, was the intention for, I guess, what the album cover is? Like, was that what you were going for? Like, was it supposed to be this flying through the air track list of, like, a compilation?
No, So when I started creating the project, um, the the cover art, shout out Justin Ellis and Moving Adams. The
That's what's up.
cover art was actually the final piece that we put together. But the time and the chapter of my life that I was in while creating the project, and even when I would listen back to some of the merit from the music and the lyrics, it really demonstrates how my life was ascending. And therefore, I was experiencing a lot and also losing a lot at the same time. So, to put that all in a nutshell, I wanted to deem that chapter of my life a Godspeed, to wish everyone around me well, and to prosper essentially.
Yeah.
Now the cover art, like I said, it's an ascending paper plane. It's going upward into the sky, but the paper plane is made up of all the different currencies from around the world of places that I've traveled or been.
That's so
And I think
dope.
that those experiences all come together, which kind of was the fuel, if you will, or the propane to, propel me upward at that time as a
Man,
creator.
that's so crazy. I'm so glad I asked about that because I didn't even realize that in the artwork, man. That's so insane. That's so cool, man. I love when the music has a purpose, and I can tell your music has purpose with it. It's very intentional, man. Now, the you a rapper freestyle track on there. Now,
Uh,
one do you, what's your process for writing? So I mean, I've always wondered that for people who can put like a freestyle track on on like an EP or on an album. Like, what's your process for like writing your tracks? Are you a get the beat or I got the lyrics, or is it hop in the studio and we're gonna see what happens today? What's the process?
no, it usually takes me quite a while to find a beat that I enjoy.
Okay.
But my cousin had made that beat. Shout out JC, and he sent it to me. I was actually on my way from either Vegas or LA to Chicago, and I was just listening to it on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. And what I kind of do is I like to develop a theme
Mm-hmm.
and see what emotions naturally are provoked in my body from the beats, and then from there on out, I try and tell a story of the last time in which my body felt that feeling.
True. So you get the emotion and then convey it back.
Right. I've never really I've definitely barred out lyrics in my head
Mm-hmm.
before, but I've never actually put ink to a piece of paper
True.
or
So
pen to a
no
pad
paper,
and
no
written.
paper in
I
the
haven't done
stew.
that.
No,
So
no iPhone notes. No BlackBerry with the side scroll. Okay.
no, no. Most of Godspeed are first takes.
So they're in the studio moments, and you just keep running them until you get them.
Yeah, I might just be sitting down and we might just be vibing out, talking themes or watching anime in the studio, and then or like reruns of like Muhammad Ali fights. I like to watch that while I
That's what's
record in
up.
silent.
Anime and Muhammad
Um,
Ali fights. That sounds like some good studio time. Like,
yeah, man. I mean, you got to get the vibes right. You know
of
what I
course,
mean?
man. It's
And
all about setting your aura.
then the energy might just hit me for a second, and I'm like, hey, let's try it out. I pop into the studio, lay it down, come out. How's it sounding? I'm like, yo, that might be it. Play it back on the bigs. That's it. Let's bust it down.
And that's it. That's hey man. Send that one out. Mix that up. Let's go. That's what's up, man. That's a really cool process. It's really dope that you can get in tune with yourself like that. I think that people who don't use paper have to be like very in tune with what they consider to be their style because
Right.
it when you're writing things down, you have the option to scratch out, erase, go back, restructure. But when you're doing things off the cuff, it's what you feel and it's right there. And I'm not saying that people who use paper don't put the emotion on paper, but it's a different process to actually just get there and let it all out at once, And that's so crazy, man. I commend
Absolutely.
that.
And it also helps to have a good team around you. Like if you have, you know, I know some artists are, they're mixing themselves, they're producing for themselves, they're writing all on their own. That's not necessarily, my recipe.
Yeah.
I've never really had much experience on the boards. I'm
Oh yeah,
primarily a
no, man. No,
vocalist.
everybody's got to know their lane in the game.
So I was saying that to say that the engineers definitely made it a lot easier on me having quality professionals in the studio with me. I did that EP. I did the recording over at Jungle Lords in Pilsen in Chicago. So shout
Oh
out Jungle
wow,
Lords.
man, that's
One of
right
the
over
best
by
studios there in
home, man. That's
Chicago.
what's up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's really dope, man, and that's awesome because that actually makes more sense now that I felt like it was sounding a little Chicago on it. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm hearing some elements here, man. But that's
Yeah,
so
we was at
awesome.
home for that. We was at home for that one.
Now, do you do all of your music independently as far as your drops and releases and things like that?
For now, I'm doing it all independently. I actually own a company.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my own LLC that's registered. It's a talent management boutique. And then under that umbrella, we also have a registered publishing company and
Okay,
label.
so you
So
so
I
you
release
so it's all to
everything
you. That's
myself.
what's up. That's what's up. That's a
Mm-hmm.
question that I
Yeah.
like to ask people too when they come on. I'm like, how do you feel about your things being signed over? Some people don't mind it. Some people do. Some people like the complete and utter ownership. But I mean, like, I can see you already are about that.
Well, I didn't want to wait on anybody, so the best thing I could do for myself was to sign myself
Yeah,
and give myself an advance, right? And then as it grows and as things take off, that'll give me the value of leverage to be able to partner if that is an
exactly.
opportunity in the future. But no, I'm not necessarily seeking to be signed at this time.
That gives you so much. That gives you so much more leverage when you come into conversations and you sign yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, so do you want to do a deal? You got to talk to me about getting me. Like,
Right,
that's what's
right,
up.
right.
The ownership is definitely important when it comes to this. Now, for music, I see that like a lot of your music that you have and been putting out has been coming out recently. I like to ask people, what is your dream project for the future? Like, if you could get the studio you wanted, the engineers you wanted, the producers you wanted, the features you wanted,
Wow.
what's your dream project? It could be an EP, it could be an album, it could be a one track, you know, but what's the dream thing that you want to work on in the studio?
Well, I think a dream project of mine. I've never really thought about this. That's a great question. Um, I would honestly, I love most artists that are on the Rock Nation roster.
Hey, that's
So,
what's up.
it would be fire to be able to collaborate with any of those guys. But, I would love to possibly, work in the studio closely with hometown boys, Big Mensa, Chance the Rapper,
Man, shout out
or
Vic and
maybe,
Chan. I've been listening since I was a shorty.
man, them my guys. I've been
Back,
following them since I was pretty young as well, man, closely.
yeah, I was gonna
I would
ask you about that. I did see something on your Instagram that said you worked with Vic, and I was like, "What is this? Can we talk about that a little bit?"
Oh yeah, man. I assisted Vic for a little while when he was finishing up his Hooligan studio album out in Los Angeles.
Man, yeah, I remember that drop. Definitely remember that drop.
So yeah, he's one of my favorite artists, and it's always a pleasure to ever be able to witness such a great artist work, especially in their own space and be themselves. Another artist that I've worked closely with, or I did one music video in East Atlanta with Lil Baby. It's
Yeah,
called
man, I
Everybody.
checked out that video.
And being able to see him work very closely was also a great experience. I really just enjoy seeing these guys work
Seeing that creative process
firsthand,
play out, man, it's
seeing
one
the
of my favorite
process,
things.
work ethic, and then I can take away, the good things that I see from that and kind of use it in my own way.
Man, that's so crazy. Now, to get back over to the dream project, is there a specific studio or anything that you got in mind? Like some people might say Stankonia down south or Electric Lady, or is there any place that
Uh,
you've always wanted to record or you'd like to get a vibe in?
oh yeah, another artist that I would love to collaborate with. I would love to take it out to Calabasas and link up with Jaden Smith. I love his work.
Man, that would be interesting.
Yeah. But no, as far as location goes, um, I would love to get out there in Malibu, Sharula with Rick Rubin.
Ooh.
That's always a dream.
Man, that's a dream of mine, man. Ever since I watched Jay-Z get his haircut in the studio downstairs where he was making 99 Problems, I was like, I need to do something in that studio. Like,
Either
man.
there or also Crosby Studios in North
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. There are a lot of studios out on the West Coast that are just so awesome that I'd love to go check out. Now, is that it for the project, or are there any other people that you'd like to have on it, as far as maybe some instrumentalists or maybe a producer too, or anything?
Producer? I mean, man, if I could work with any producer, it's gonna be Kanye.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
man. What era
Yeah.
Kanye do you need from Kanye though? Like, do you
Give me
want
any,
what
give me
year?
any
What
era.
year Kanye do you want?
Give me any
Any?
era. Yeah, he
So
better
you
than whatever
telling me
they got.
you'll be cool with getting getting this new Ye, the bipolar album Ye? You want some of that on the album, or what if he could chop up the soul again for you and hit you with that
Some of that
that
shit
late
slap,
registration?
man. Y'all gonna take it easy on my
Some
guy
of it
Kanye.
slapped. Some of it slapped, bro. Look, I will say that there are a few that I've ran back.
Shit, man. I mean, honestly, I fuck with 808 Heartbreaks.
Oh, that's a good one. Hey, I love 808s. Yeah, that was a different vibe when he gave us so many different dark instruments to explain a story that was supposed to not be that dark. Like when you hear the drums on Love Lockdown and you listen to the themes of it, the insanity, man, it's back and forth.
I was listening to that. I think it was like my sophomore year of high school. I had just got a car. It was good winter in Illinois. Good winter. So those sounds were perfect.
Oh yeah, man. When you when the bass is just hitting right back in the car.
Hey, look, check it out though. What's the album with Ultralight Beam?
That's the Life of Pablo.
That Life of Pablo. He can give me some of that.
There was a whole bunch of producers on that one though. So that was Chance was producing, Tyler the Creator was producing. You had Metro Boomin on there. Oh, we had so many people on there.
Man,
Charlie
give me some of that.
Charlie Heat on Facts, man. That beat was insane. The Highlights beat is so crazy. I listen to that once a week.
I mean, what he did on like Tiana Taylor's project was crazy.
Oh
too,
man,
though,
that never would have made it beat.
What?
I was so look, I'm still a little mad. So all those tracks got cut short. I wish that we could have got the extended version of just that never would have made it, bro. She said that one had 2 more verses.
You're gonna have to hit him up and tell him shoot the deluxe.
She said it had 2 more verses on it. I was like, I need them. I need the verses.
That sound long as hell though. A Rose in Harlem was fire.
Oh man, that one was so crazy. The way those drums hit.
Yeah.
Man, okay. So this project that you're talking about, I see what you like. So I'm seeing how it would come together, and I think that would be so insane, man.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so crazy. Now, to switch gears a little bit, when we were talking beforehand, we were going to dive into a couple topics here, and the 90s being one of them. So I want to talk a little bit about the 90s now. It was a crazy era, and I feel like it's been coming up a lot in different conversations I've been having. So I'm glad that I can have you on to talk about this. So the 90s is this mecca that we've made it to be for R&B, for hip hop, for all these different sectors. It was like 10 years of tremendous growth, and we've like said that it can't be topped. Now, do you think that it truthfully can't be topped, or is it just because of how many people grew up in it, or how many people listened to it in the time period, and then they like are all the people who are talking right now? So is the next generation going to have this same respect, or are they going to say the 2010s, man, when Lil Wayne was dropping da-da-da, and when Jason Derulo came, are they going to say stuff like that?
Derulo.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, so is it only a mecca because of the, like, and I was having this conversation with my pops the other day. Is it because, like, we had first to that music? Like, your first car, your first drink, your first smoke, whatever it may be, you had first to that music from the 90s. But you didn't have any more really first to this other music. So is it going to change up? I mean, I want to get your opinion on it because I felt like it was perfect to bring up for this conversation.
I mean, I'm biased because I'm a 90s baby.
I think I am too.
Early 90s, you know, like 91. So like I came up with the 90s music, you know what I mean? My mom had that playing around the house and stuff like that. So that's really what I came up. So I'm going to have to say that music can't be topped.
I feels think like it can't at all.
That's going to agree with me. Like, it can't be topped.
What happened in that 10 years has we've never jam-packed that much in 10 years since.
Ever again, and we won't do it again.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Can it be done again? Like,
no,
man,
I don't think
can there be like another renaissance like what the 90s has now been trumped up to be? Which it is at the same
culture. what the 90s meant to the culture, there's no way that 2010 post is going to mean equivalent. There's no way. They don't have the leverage. They don't have the leverage.
You're
They
right.
don't have the discography. They don't have the artists. I'm gonna be honest. They don't have.
I feel like there was also a lot more conceptual things happening in the 90s as far as music videos, as far as just the music itself. Like I felt like there was so much story behind what was happening, and then as we've progressed, there's less and less story. That's why even your project, like when you explain things and when I look and listen to the project and it all goes together, this reminds me of the good music. And I'm like, this is refreshing, but it shouldn't be. We should all be making good music like this. Like it should all be that thematic. But like, can we get back to it? Can we as a whole get back to it? Or will it just be a few people who still hold on to it?
Nah, we just got to hold on to the good ones that we got left and help them out. You know what I'm saying? Support them because, you know, the 90s definitely had an eclectic array of sounds. You feel me? Like I always loved, you know, growing up right underneath my mother. You know, I'm a mama's boy, so I did grow up with the soul, and I think that's something that we really missing currently is the soul sector. You know.
Oh man,
I grew up
like
with
where
the
is
India Aries, the Kelly Prices,
man, India Aries,
the Brandy. You know, I think come on, man. I'm talking soul. Like I'm talking about people who can really sing. The Lauryn Hill. You know, the
my
Jill
podcast.
Scotts.
My podcast is named after the miseducation of Lauryn Hill as well as the miseducation of a Negro. Like it was all encompassing because I understood how the themes all went together, and I was like, music don't hit me like that no more. Music don't hit me like that no more.
But then you still coming with the DMXs. You know
man,
what
that's
saying?
what I'm saying. The culture had everything. This is back when Ja Rule was actually doing, bro. Ja Rule and Ashanti, like,
man, that Rue don't get enough credit.
I mean, just because he went a little crazy recently, but like, I mean, I'm still gonna respect everything from back in the day, bro.
I mean, we ain't heard from Rue since what Fifth did to him.
That's what I'm saying. That's man got quiet.
Man, Rue was killing it for a hot minute. I ain't gonna hold you. Rue was killing it, no cap. Shit. Who else was hot back then? Who else was hot for you back then?
Everybody. We had things like Busta Rhymes in the 90s, bro.
Right.
We talking Missy Elliott. We talking Pharrell, bro. This is the 90s, and like
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, man, the Brat, man, just come on, that whole era was so crazy. I was listening to Sock It To Me yesterday by the Brat and Missy, and then I had to play Rain right after it. And I was like, I gotta watch the video. That's how good that music was. I listened to one song, it made me listen to another song, and then I said I had to check out the music video again. Not a lot of music can do that today. Bro, we don't even give Busta Rhymes his credit. He was the first person to use a fisheye camera lens and change outfits 10 times.
The creative
in
direction
the 90s.
was crazy. I feel like that was that whole little click right there, though, because Missy.
It was all of them were feeding off of each other, bro. Like we talking Busta Rhymes doing crazy shit in the videos, bro.
Between Missy them, Busta them, and Flip Mode and Bad Boy, I don't know if anybody had better narrated music videos at the time, dog.
I don't know, bro. To pass the Cavassier, I think that might be a little 2000s-ish, but bro, that video.
Cavassier is my shit.
Oh my god, yo, Busta, what's up, son? Leader, bro. That shit was crazy, dude. It was just so insane that time period, and like it started leaking over into the 2000s. Like, why didn't we hold it? What happened?
That was back when we still had live performances.
You're right. I mean, definitely the performance aspect had things to do with it. But I mean, even just the cross that we had in culture back in the day, from the 90s to the early 2000s, into the movies, into the television. Like, we talking in the 90s back when, like, Disney Channel was playing relevant music and, like, hits and things like that. Nickelodeon had people on who were, like, legitimate R&B artists in the 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
And TV gave all of that up. Like...
It's unfortunate, bro. It's honestly unfortunate, but there are a couple of artists, like we said, that's really holding it down, and we just have to hope for the best. I'm thinking that each artist kind of creates a tree.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So we're hoping that, you know, the branches off some of these trees with this quality music, this good music just continues to flourish.
I mean, I think it's also like, and I mean, I don't know why the quote just popped into my head. I don't know if you've ever heard Pound Cake by Drake, but the only real music's going to last. All that other bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow. What if that's what it ends up being too? We get 20 years down the line and we forgot all the bad stuff, and now we only take the good stuff with us from here. So I mean, maybe that's the real hope. Like maybe we just forget the misses and we only keep the branches.
Think about the genres. Think about the genres that are birthed out of it, though. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, rap did not have subgenres until the 90s
at all.
There was one rap. There was the LL Cool J type, and that was it. Like, people didn't experiment with flows and poetry, and then you hear people like Big, and then you hear people like Pac taking beats like California Love and going stupid over the top of them. Like, man.
I feel like Kanye, T-Pain, and maybe even Nelly had a lot to do.
Man, he don't get enough credit out here.
Had a lot to do with the transition of rap and that genre of sing rap that has become the most genre out right now.
Man, Rappa turned singer.
Shout out Mo.
Man, and Akon is the one who signed him, bro. Like, come on.
Crazy. I did not know that.
So he was signed to Convict Music after he made his Locked Up remix.
What?
Come on, man. Insanity, right?
Man, that's a piece of history right there.
Tallahassee Payne made rapper turned singer, changed his name to T-Pain, and went stupid. He was making the best beats. He said he still has hard drives with over 500 songs on them each completed.
Drop them shits.
He had two huge vault drops just called Everything Must Go. He dropped like 40 tracks a piece on each tape. He got remixes we ain't never heard. He was doing verse for verse to keep up. He said he wanted to keep up the collaboration in music. So he did verse for verse with people instead of asking for money off top. He was going crazy. He was doing features everywhere. You couldn't look a different direction without seeing T-Pain somewhere.
Man.
Making his back too, man.
He made his transition to TV though. He doing his thing.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. I mean, just seeing him on Twitch is hilarious too. Seeing that man play video games and make freestyle raps is so funny. Like he has just so many different lanes, man. Now, to jump back into the 90s a little bit, what is your favorite 90s genre, or it could be artists if you want to get specific, but I know some people don't like to get too specific on names. But what was your favorite like vibe of the 90s? Like if it was
it's a no-brainer for me, sir. 90s R&B, hands down.
R&B?
90s R&B, hands down, my boy. I'm saying, like, that's the vibe. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to loving. You know what I'm saying? No homo. We need to get back to loving out here. It's enough of the other bullshit going on. Stop. Cut the bullshit.
Man, there are no more R&B love songs anywhere for real. Like, there are very few people. They're so few and far between when they pop up.
Man, I got a single out called Silky. Man, when I tell you that's real R&B.
Man, that's what I'm saying. We got to get back to that. We're gonna have to link
real R&B vibes, man. Make sure you check that one out. Write that down on your notes.
We're gonna put that. We're gonna put it in the description right here for everybody to listen to.
All platforms, my man.
But man, that 90s R&B vibe is crazy. See, I loved if I had to pick a vibe from the 90s, it was that crossover. It was the rapping that had the elements of the R&B, but sometimes it would be the rapping with elements of something different. But like the rapping that had something else with it was my favorite part. It was like when Tupac did Keep Your Head Up, like when you got that rapping mixed with that, or when you got Lauryn Hill on like Everything Is Everything, mixing those intense notes. I'm talking them high belting notes and these crazy runs with her own rapping. Like, bro,
not a huge vocalist, not a standout vocalist, but I always did R.I.P. love Nate Dogg.
Man, the hook king. He was T-Pain before T-Pain. He walked so T-Pain could run. Bro,
man,
come on, man.
God,
Nate Dogg was needed for the culture, bro. Regulators.
Gangsta R&B.
Man. In the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Bro, come on. That was, bro, hoes in different area codes by Luda, bro. Come on. Every time he got on a track. Bro, I can't even explain how much Nate Dogg was needed for the culture. I love seeing people who are connectors. Like, he's a connector in a similar sense of how T-Pain is, where you're like, it don't matter where he go, you gonna catch his vibe. And that's so crazy, man. Like, ooh, I missed that era right there. Now, I do have a few questions here now before we wrap up and things. This is called Now or the 90s. I'm going to ask you a few things, and you pick, would you rather take now or the 90s for what it is?
All right.
Okay, so you ready for it?
Let's get it.
Music videos.
The 90s.
Video games.
The 90s.
Whoa, wait, hold on. We got to stop for a second. That one got me off guard. I thought that was for sure going to be a now. What's your favorite 90s video game, man?
Nah, I was going to say now, but I don't really play video games that much now.
I feel like I don't play them that much either, but just if I do hop on.
I have to go back to the days when I actually was a gamer. You know what I'm saying? When I was in the council, when my thumbs was still strong.
Definitely. I feel you. Now, this one I feel is a no-brainer too. R&B. I'm sure you're going to take the 90s.
90s.
Definitely. Cartoons.
90s.
I feel like that one was far too easy, man. I feel like that one was far too easy. Clothing trends. Now we're the 90s.
I'm gonna have to go with that's actually hard because it'd be some fly shit out there nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. Some of it, and I mean, so if we go back to the 90s, you can't have any of the new 90s inspired stuff that I think actually does go insane when they add the new to the 90s.
It is, like you said, it is inspired. The origin is from the 90s, so I'm gonna have to go with the original and go 90s. 90s
oh,
for that.
Man, that's a straight 90s list, man. Look, that's the whole list I got for you, G. You're 90s
no shirt,
down.
tattoos, and some walt wounds.
Man, oh my God, that's a whole era right there. Like I could see that in my head. It was a different time period, man.
Give me a prison tat and a pair of Jabot jeans. We outside.
Man, you know the Jabot jeans, and then when it get a little cold, you're gonna put on the XXX white tee with it or something.
XXX white tee with a gray hoodie on top of that and a pelly.
And the pelly.
It be cold as hell. You know how you wear the hoodie under the
Chicago all day, bro. A hoodie plus a little bomber. That's a winter coat,
you need the
bro.
hoodie
It's
with
math.
the bomber.
It's math, bro. You got to put the pelly over the hoodie, and that equals a winter coat.
You know. I mean the pelly with the gray hoodie and the tall tee.
Man, and some Fresh Force ones, high tops.
No, it's too cold for that. Give me the wheat Timbs. It's too cold. The
wheat Timbs with the tongues hanging down. Gee, oh man, that's a whole.
No, I don't even tie them up. I just put a knot on them.
That's what I'm saying. It's still cold. The whole front of your foot gonna be cold because it's open.
Bro, but you fly.
But you fly as hell with a flat brim cap with a watch in the middle right there.
Them shits. Oh
man. Hey, look, man. That's the episode right there, G. We're gonna wrap it up. I like to outro every episode with music from the artists I have on or artists who are trying to grind out here. So I want to give them one of your tracks. What track should we outro with on here, man?
Let's go with Vacation.
We're going to do Vacation from Godspeed, man. That track is going to be coming up, man. They're about to hear it start playing in the background. Tell them what you got coming up next if you got anything, and tell them what they need to do as far as where to stream you at, man.
Yeah, man, I'm streaming on all platforms, Apple Music, you know what I'm saying, Spotify, et cetera, SoundCloud. G!O, as he said, the name of the project is Godspeed. You can follow me at Giovanni.McEastland, MCEASTLAND on all social media. We're working on an EP right now. We're working on the second EP. No release dates yet, but we are cooking. You know what I'm saying? I'll definitely keep y'all up to date on when you can expect to hear those sounds.
Definitely. When that drops, we're going to have to play it over here, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. For everybody who's listening, you're hearing Vacation in the background. Thank you all for listening, and we out.
Hey, my boy, don't forget to check out Silky if you want to talk about the 90s R&B vibes.
100%.
My single Silky is fire.
I just got a new babe.